On this week's show, what are the best areas for serviced accommodation?
In the news, the property market in London is set to turn positive, according to latest reports.
And we're going to be answering all your property-related questions. Welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an upload. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Enjoy this week's show and don't forget to share it with all your friends. Hi, I'm Russell Leeds.
I'm Alasdair, Cunningham.
And welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. So, yeah, it's going to be a really good show.
It is. I think there's some interesting news coming up.
There is. So tell us about your week before we get cracking into it.
This week's been pretty cool. So I've just literally we're at a crash course at the minute. We've just been doing a crash course ongoing at the minute.
We've nipped
just
here.
Popped out to get this done. But yeah, crash course this week. Lots of training, lots of events. It's been really, really busy, really hectic. What about yourself?
Good. Yeah, I've just been in the office, but it's been a busy week.
Yeah,
it's been a busy week. It's been a good week. It's been a good week. But it's been a busy week.
Yeah.
I went to the Everyman cinema.
Okay.
Have you ever been to one of them? So basically, it's like a normal cinema.
Wow.
Apart from, rather than having individual seats, they have sofas for two.
Okay.
And like a little table, and then they bring food. You can order food like pizza. I had a beer.
Did you? Wow.
It's like the best cinema ever.
Yeah, I mean that's just like a normal cinema, to be honest. Like cinemas, if you upgrade to VIP in the cinemas. Actually, incidentally, I went to the cinema the other week, and me and Rick went to watch. Can't remember what it was we watched, but me and Ricky went, and if you upgrade to you can pay out to upgrade to VIP, and you get like big sort of lounger seats where they recline and all that sort of stuff, and it was so expensive. It was like 80 quid for 2 tickets, and like you get to go into the VIP lounge where you get like dinner and stuff like that. It was at Thurrock.
Well, did you eat dinner during the film?
Well, yeah, you can bring it in.
Table service?
Yeah, not table service. No, not table service.
So it sounds a little bit different. So you didn't get like table service, bringing your beer and stuff come through. No. And it was like before the film started. I've only ever been.
What film did you go and watch?
Judy.
Oh. Don't know. Never heard of it.
What did you go and say?
Sounds. I honestly can't remember.
Well, if of course you never heard of my
Hustler.
film.
We went to see Hustler.
Hustler.
Yeah, it's about new Jennifer Lopez film.
It's about Jennifer Lopez. Is it about?
Yeah, it's a really good film.
Is it her in it, or is it about her?
It's her in it.
What's it about?
It's about her when she's playing. About 6-7 years ago.
Did you actually watch this film?
Listen, about 6-7 years ago, in America, there was a couple of strippers, and they were hustling people, and they were drugging them up before they went into the strip club, and then they were swiping their cards for like $50,000 and things like that. And there was a couple of people done it, and they're in prison for it now, and it's a reenactment of that. It's actually quite interesting.
Okay.
And there was dudes like done for like 75 grand on a night out on their American Expresses and things like that. And these 4 ladies that orchestrated it all got put in prison for it. But yeah, it was just all about that. It was really good.
Wow.
Interesting.
Fair play.
So
anyway, my point was that with the cinema is that you pay a bit more, but the service was great. So they had like a guy that came out who was like, "Well, welcome to the film. We're going to be starting shortly. If you
really?
Yeah." And it was like next level sort of service, but it was a bit more.
How much
expensive.
were the tickets?
Not that expensive. I think it came to about 35 quid.
Yeah, it's still.
Whereas you're normally looking at about 25, aren't you? So it's about an extra 10.
Cinemas have got very expensive, yeah.
Plus,
I don't go that often, but.
Plus, then obviously the dinner, but the food is reasonable. All in all, about 70 quid.
Cool. Where was the cinema? Where was the actual theatre you went to?
Gerrard's Cross.
Okay.
It's not far from where I live.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Awesome. So you've been busy? We've been busy?
We've been busy watching films, forgetting what they're about, that sort of stuff, the usual. Okay.
It was like 3 weeks ago what it meant.
So, then why are we talking about it now?
I don't know.
So, service accommodation.
Yes.
This is something that we get asked a lot about in terms of in fact it's probably one of the most what made us sort of think of it is literally people are posting today on the group saying like, oh, how do I check the area? How do I know if it's a good area?
Or even how to find the best area. People get stuck on where to go because obviously buy low rent high is buy low rent high. So the houses you're typically looking at are going to be up north because they're lower priced and you can still rent them for a higher amount of money. So if you're doing service accommodation, it's highly likely you're going to be doing it on a rent-to-rent model.
Well, I suppose it depends. Obviously, you've got two options. You can either...
Yeah. The majority of people doing SA are doing them on a rent-to-rent basis.
Why do you think that is?
Because it's easy in, easy out.
Yeah, but it's also easy in to buy a buy-to-let apartment and then rent it out. That's easy as well.
I agree with you, but it maybe it's easy access for a lot of people that maybe can't afford the deposits for £300,000 apartments in, I don't know, Chelmsford or wherever they may be. Because obviously, if rent to get more service accommodation to get more money, you're typically going to be in the
nicer areas where it's more expensive.
Where it's more expensive to be. Like hotels are more expensive, so to buy them you're going to need a massive deposit. So you'd be better off doing them on a rent-to-rent basis if you can. We talk about this at Rent-to-Rent Revolution. So like think about, where do you live? Where's the nearest, nicest city to where you live? And we say it has to have three things. Has to be near where you live.
So, do you think it's important it's near where you live?
I think yes, because the way we teach at SA is that if it's your first one and you're getting involved in it, after you've become compliant, that you should run it yourself for 6 months to get to understand how it all works. Because before you systemize it, you need to have a really, really good understanding of how the systems work and how you can best take yourself out of the business. Because the idea is we're trying to teach people how to have passive income. That's fine. But the thing is, it's very, you should, like, it's like us in our business, yeah? We don't give it to somebody else to do until we've done it and know how to do it. Agreed?
Agreed.
Yeah. So we would say your first service accommodation, you should be running it yourself to understand how the linen works, to understand how the changeovers work, to understand how the key safe works, to understand everything, all the processes. Once you've understood it, then systemize it. And that's the way we do it. That's the way we recommend. Only for a couple of months. We're not saying do this forever, just a couple of months to get used to it and get a good understanding. Then systemize it. You can systemize it very, very well. But so on that note, I would say it wants to be in the nearest city to you, somewhere that's city centre. It's busy, and it's got things going on. It's actually there's something going on there. So like, for instance, there's certain cities up north where there's just nothing going on. So I wouldn't put anything in there.
Like where?
Places like Hull. I can't see service accommodation making very much money in places like Hull. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And please tell me if I'm wrong. I don't mind. But there's lots of cities up north that like.
Come on, we're always going, right, where should we go for our next business trip? Let's go to Hull. Yeah. I mean, that's just everyday conversation.
Is it? Right, oh. I don't think
where should we go on holiday? Hull, of course.
Do you know what I find really interesting?
What?
Is when you go to like these cities, there is holiday makers there, like tourists. Not Hull, but like Birmingham and things like that. Can you imagine being like in China or whatever? And thinking, having you sit down with your family around the dinner table and say, "Oh, we're going to go on holiday this year. Where do you want to go?" Birmingham. Like it doesn't make sense, does it?
As in people that travel to England from abroad and they choose to go to Hull. Maybe that because like I'm planning on to Italy at the moment, right? So I'm like looking at, I don't know where's a crap hole and where's good.
They'd be disappointed when they rock up at Hull, wouldn't they?
I mean, I suppose probably go to Rome or.
Yeah, that's a bit different to Hull. Like, come on, man! I'm going to go to Rome in Italy, or I'm going to go to Hull in England.
Let's say there was someone that wanted to go to Rome, right? And they were looking on the.
But FYI, I've got houses in Hull, and I love Hull, but it's not a holiday destination.
And then I widened the search because I thought I'll maybe explore a bit of the real Italy, and I found somewhere and I went. You could do that, and you could end up in Hull or somewhere. You
could. Right, let's get back to the point. City centre has to be busy. There has to be things going on, right? So just think, where do you live? Like, so for me, I live in North London. I've got there's lots of options around London for service accommodation that don't fall under the 90-day rule. There's lots of cities just outside London that don't fall under, that aren't affected by any regulation. So I've got so many options. But let's just say you live up in, like, for instance, where I used to live, Northampton. The nearest city, I've got Oxford.
Northampton.
Which is, you've got Northampton itself, you've got Oxford, you've got Milton Keynes.
Oxford?
You just copying everything I say.
We said it twice, so I just thought, we keep saying Oxford, is that the thing?
So you've got Northampton, Oxford, Milton Keynes. You've got lots of cities nearby that service accommodation would work very well in. So you don't need to be driving far, far away.
Okay, so pick a city.
Yep.
Any city nearby where you live, as long as it's busy and nice.
Yep.
So you got to pick a nice busy city near where you live.
Yeah.
So what about if you're in Scotland? What'd you do then?
There's very, very nice places in Scotland. All you Scottish viewers, like, you find him and you thumbs down him. Find him.
They're just going to put thumbs down on this video now. It's going to look bad on you as well.
I don't mind. Nah, he loves Scotland. He's just joking because I'm Scottish.
Edinburgh,
yeah. Listen, in Scotland, there's loads of places that work very well. For holiday lets as well. But service accommodation, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Aberdeen. There's places. There's all over. There's lots of business going on up there. Bear in mind, what's the biggest use of service accommodation? Who uses it the most? Categorically, business people. Categorically, business people. So wherever there's stuff going on, big cities with business, you're going to have use. Now, another way to do it, and I find this quite useful. Start looking around all the corporate websites, things like Premier Inn, Holiday Inn Express, Costa Coffee, Starbucks, all these big chains, and find out where they're developing and where they're building. Because if I can rest assured, right? If you're thinking of a city and you're worrying about whether it's going to work or not, and Premier Inn are building a hotel there, it will work. Trust me. Because Premier Inn, their main clientele is holidaymakers. And I spent a lot of time driving around the country looking at houses, and I used to stay in lots of Premier Inns. And believe me, a lot of them are in the bigger cities. It's sometimes very difficult to get booked in if you book last minute, because they're always full up.
People are going to end up buying like an apartment now, right off a service station or something.
I'm just saying, think about where's getting developed, what's happening, where's Premier Inns getting built.
Okay,
all these big companies, where are they building? Because they've done their research, they've checked for footfall, they've checked for demand, they've checked for use. Just don't need to recreate the wheel and use they've got teams of people doing the research on this.
So probably people that watch this now probably got a couple of cities in mind nearby where they live.
Yeah.
So bang, Birmingham, let's say Oxford, whatever. Let's do it for Northampton. So people are now thinking Oxford, Northampton. Then what next? What else do we do? What else? Because how do we know if it's going to work? If it's not going to work?
Okay, there's a really good website.
Yep.
AirDNA. It's AIRDNA. So Russell will translate that.
The reason is, so there's nothing wrong with Alasdair. So with Scottish accent, the vowels are very hard to distinguish. So when he spells things out, so it's air, A-I-R.
DNA.
There you go, he's got the DNA. Otherwise, he sounds like DNA, which, is difficult.
Anyway, AirDNA. If you jump on AirDNA, you don't have to pay at the minute. It's free to use. You can type in any city.
Well, you can do a free search or a paid search.
Yeah, hold on. I've not got there yet.
Okay.
So at the minute, it's free. So you can do a basic search in any city in the world, and it will give you the stats for service accommodation. You can, once you've chosen your specific area, you can pay for a monthly report in that specific area, which goes into a much, much greater detail. And that price varies from city to city. So when I was doing it, I was looking at Milton Keynes. To get Milton Keynes was £32 a month. And that gives you a daily update on what's going on, the sort of properties that are working very well. So it tells you like how many properties are 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom, what rents out the best, how much the average rate is, occupancy rates, things like that. It tells you a lot about each specific area. They've done their research, but obviously you have to pay for that. So yeah, AirDNA, very, very good, very good.
Okay, brilliant. So you can check websites like that. Have a look on places like Booking.com,
absolutely,
Airbnb. Have a look at the general demand.
On like Booking.com and Airbnb, you can find an apartment that you want to book in that area and just look at the calendar, because you can access the calendar going forward, or you can select dates and see if it's been booked, or try and get a feeling for the consensus of, is the property available constantly for the next 2 months? If it is, then maybe there's not a lot of demand there. If you're putting in dates and it's sold out, then it's a good sign for you that there's demand.
And the two things that you're really looking for when you're doing this research is, number one, occupancy rate.
Yeah.
And number two, the amount per night that people are paying. They're the two things that you kind of want to check, aren't they? So in regards to occupancy rate, I mean, service accommodation the occupancy rate is actually really high, isn't it?
It's really high. When at the rent revolution, we work everything out on 50%. So if you do all your sums, do all your calculations, and if you do not break even at 50% occupancy rate, we advise perhaps not going ahead.
Oh, definitely don't.
Well, we said it's up to your decision at the end of the day. But we say, look, we wouldn't go ahead if you don't break even at 50%. Then we wouldn't go through with it. Now we have had people that don't break even until 70%, but they still go ahead and they're still making money. But that we like to be very conservative, and very safe.
And risky, then, isn't it?
It makes it hard work and risky, yeah. But like Ricky, his properties in Milton Keynes, they're running at 90 to 95% occupancy, very high occupancy. And he's making like £1,200 to £1,500 a month per property. So they're out there. You find them in the right area, make sure everything's right. Yeah, they'll make money.
So what would you say then? In regard, what we kind of looking for in terms of nightly rate? Because like for example, somewhere like Wolverhampton, I remember because obviously we used to, our office was there, and the nightly rates were just rubbish.
Well, last time I stayed over in Wolverhampton when I was in the office for a couple of days, I stayed in a service accommodation apartment, and it was formerly a HMO, and they just made it into. It was 6-bed HMO. They made it into 6-bed.
That might
SA.
work.
Okay, but it was £25 a night. Yeah,
but still £25. But still, it's not so bad, is it? Because you got 25.
Yeah.
Let's quickly work that out. So at full occupancy, it'd be 25 times 6, £150 a night times 30. It's $4,500.
Yeah.
So because they've split into 6, really it's £150 a night.
Yeah. So yeah, if it's single occupancy, like a 1-bedroom apartment, I wouldn't be interested unless it was at least £90 a night. I wouldn't like anything less than that. It just doesn't seem worth the hassle.
No. With the cleaning costs and because
well,
all that
cleaning
sort of
costs
stuff stays the same.
Yeah, the cleaning costs are
Obviously
extra. You add on. Don't include them. I made the mistake of including them when I first started doing this, so it was annoying. So just make sure you add them on. But yeah, I wouldn't get involved in this. You're getting at least £90 a night at least. And also a little tip is with your nightly rates, look at what's happening over the next year in the area. Like what events are coming to the town is like, for instance, Silverstone. So all the properties around Silverstone, the rates triple. They go from £100 a night, £150 a night to £400 and £450 a night. But just know what's going on. So if you've got a property like, for instance, near, I don't know, Goodwood. So you got Goodwood Festival, prices go up. Or that festival you go to, Nick, what's that? Creamfields. Creamfields. All the music festivals, the prices go up. What's going on in the area that you can increase the prices? And do it. Don't be scared to do it. Just whack the prices up. Because you'll get people like Nick going and trashing your house, trashing your apartment after having too much drink. I'm kidding. He would never do that. We might, but he didn't. Go on.
Okay, brilliant. So average, and what about average occupancy rate? So £90 a night. What are you looking at for occupancy?
Oh, I won't do it unless it's at least 50, but 50%.
Yeah, but what I don't mean what your break-even point is. I mean,
average
occupancy.
Yeah,
if
70.
You check in an area.
I think 70% minimum, 70-75%. The average across the UK is 75.
You want to be getting at least 70.
You want to be getting at least 70. I wouldn't. I'd be happy with 70. But then people say they want 100%, and then I think that's fine, but only if you've got really, really good systems in place. Because if you've got somebody checking checking out and checking in every single day, you need good teams in place to make sure that everything's seamless and smooth. The cleaning's getting done, the laundries are getting changed. You need everything to be seamless.
It's just unrealistic.
I think it is unrealistic.
To get 100%.
Even hotels don't have 100%.
No.
So.
Well, hotels have less on average than service accommodation.
Yeah.
So, but even great hotels don't have 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Well, hopefully that's given you some sort of tips on how to find the area. Choose a big area near you. Do a bit of research. AirDNA, Booking.com. Look out for things like the average prices, the occupancy rate. Work out what you get a feel it's going to be. And if it's above those sort of figures, then it's probably a good goer. The other good thing is when you're doing it on a rent to rent, as long as you put in the contract that you've got a break clause, if it doesn't work, you're not taking too much of a risk. You can always, if you mess up and accidentally get it in Hull, and you think Hull's going to be great, and then you go ahead and you do it, and it doesn't work, then just you can pull out, and it's unlikely you're going to get no bookings. You should get some in.
You know
at
what we
least
call
cover
that,
your
don't you?
costs.
What do we call that?
What?
Do it as a rent to rent before you commit. Try before you buy.
Ah, it's not really something we call that. It's quite a famous saying.
Yeah, but we've tagged it to rent to rent, so that's our saying.
Well, we'll have it then.
Anyway,
it's now time for this. Okay, so in the news this week, property market is set to turn positive in London, according to the index. So here's basically the rationale behind it. Basically, the rents in London have begun to rise.
Yeah.
Which means that investors are thinking, we need to get back into London to take advantage of the rise, and therefore it's going to make the house prices go up. So now could be a very good time to buy in London because number one, your rents are going to go up, which is good, and number two, your capital appreciation will then go up.
Yeah,
will then go up as well. Overall, Greater London's price correction is complete. It says all the top performing boroughs in the listings market in terms of rental growth will soon translate into top performing sales market because the sales have slumped a bit the last few years, but the rents go first, sales follow. So
I wonder, obviously, with Brexit looming on 31st of October,
Brexit?
Have you not heard about that?
No. Is that a Brexit cereal? Is that a breakfast cereal?
Yeah, it is. New
Brexit. It's like Weetabix. Brexit.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, Brexit's looming round the corner. So I wonder what effect that's going to have on this, because there's lots and lots of people that are. Let's face it. No, we do not know what is going to happen after Brexit. Even the most intelligent financial minds out there have not a Scooby-Doo about this.
Lunch, probably.
Lunch, yeah. It'll be like every other day. But my point being is, nobody knows. So you're getting. None of us watch the news. However, I have tuned into a few programs recently about Brexit just to see what the hell was going on and what people are saying about it. And it's amazing how two top financial guys have such different opinions about things. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And with Boris at the helm, it's going to be interesting. Do you not think?
I'm sure it will be.
Maybe that's going to have an effect on this. The general consensus is there's going to be a dip, not an increase.
Yeah, and they've also highlighted the worst area.
Okay, where's that? I can see, and I've got houses there. Great.
Have you?
Humber Bridge, Hull.
Sorry, mate. Sorry. So not only should you not buy in Hull for serviced accommodation, you just shouldn't buy in Hull. Basically, this podcast is designed to hate on Hull.
No. I've got some really good friends up there, and I've got some really good properties up there.
And the east of England, asking prices was down 2.9% over the last 12 months, and down they're falling 0.5% a month at the moment.
Wow.
It's quite a lot, isn't it?
Interestingly, because east of England was going up for the last 4 or 5 years. Yeah. It's very interesting. So, what's your take on this news article? What do you think about London? Would you invest in London at the minute?
Probably not.
No, I don't think I would. I've actually, interestingly, I'm looking at a buy, refurb, refinance deal in London at the minute, in St John's Wood.
Oh, I'll do that.
Yeah, do it buy, refurb. It's a chunk. I need to speak to you about it. I only come about it 2 days ago.
How much in?
Well, it's purchase price of $750.
So how much?
We've not done exact numbers.
What's the refurb?
Right. Okay. Refurb, we're going to be reckoning about 75,000.
Okay.
But the house is worth 1.1, 1.2. So there's a chunk of money to be made.
Dude, we'll keep you posted, but that sounds good.
Yeah, I found it the other day.
Show me.
I found it the other day.
Show me. Cool. All right. Anyway, it's now time for your questions and our answers. Okay, so the first question that's come in is from Brad, the Hitman Heart. He says, can deal sourcing be passive?
Hey Brad, how you doing, bro? So To begin with, no, you're going to have to do it to learn the ropes and to learn how you do it. So you've got to do it very, very, very much yourself. Once you get good at it and once you get systems in place and teams in place, yeah, it's absolutely passive if you want it to be.
It's the same as it's a business.
It's a business.
Can a business be passive? I would say a business can be 99% passive.
Yeah.
Unless you're just a shareholder, obviously.
Well,
but even
let me just relay it back to Better Source. Better Source is, for me, it's 99% passive. My involvement in Better Sourced is I have a meeting with the operations manager once a month. We have regular daily phone calls and daily WhatsApp messages.
Plus, Alasdair does all the viewings.
No.
So, well, hold on. You do daily calls. Daily
as in,
WhatsApp
when I say
messages.
daily calls, as in, so Max texted me this morning and said, just let you know, can you just check the bank for this? That's it. So I've boom. You're talking like a minute.
That's not passive though, is it?
But it's not. I'm not out physically doing it. I spend less than half an hour, probably. I would say I spend less than an hour a week on the business.
Okay.
So it's, like I say, it's 99% passive. It's not 100% passive. I literally take a few voice notes throughout the day. Sometimes I don't even hear from them, and then we have a meeting once a month, and we have every few days. So every few days we have a phone call.
Probably 90% passive, isn't it?
Every few days we have a phone call. If he needs to contact me throughout the day, they contact me throughout the day via WhatsApp on voice notes or text message, and that's it. But it takes, I would say, maximum
95% passive.
I would say maximum an hour a week I spend on Better Sourced.
Plus your meeting.
Plus the meeting, yeah, at the end of the month, which is normally over dinner, and then we go out for a few drinks. So. It's more of, it's like a meeting social.
It's not a meeting, is it?
Yeah.
Did you get taken advantage of by? Did you get drugged up and someone used your American Express card?
No. No, Max might have, but I didn't.
Okay.
Actually, he had my business card. No,
Well,
I need to check.
That explains it. So I wonder where all the money had gone.
No, not at all. Yeah, it can be passive, bro.
All right, there you go, Brad. That's it can be passive.
Especially you,
passive.
man, because you're Brad the Hitman Hart. You can definitely do it.
So we started off and I said, right, first question from Brad Hart, and then I read the question and he made me cut it to then say Brad the Hitman Hart, just so you know. So next question from Darren Andrews. Have you got any fancy name for him?
No, Darren Andrews.
He's not a hitman or anything. He's just Darren.
Do you know why we said Brad the Hitman Hart?
Brett the Hitman Hart.
It's Brett the Hitman Hart, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Like WWF. Like, you're a bit young, ain't you? Like, Nick got it, but like, Russell's like, who's that?
Really? I say it every week.
I'm kidding, go.
I'm confused.
Next question.
Anyway, Darren Andrews. Northwest compared to Northeast for buy refurbished finance. Thanks, guys. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, I would go Northwest.
Yeah, me too.
Manchester, Crewe,
Well, we've just read that Northeast is taking a
dipping,
bit of a dive on. So it's probably a bad time to do it.
Northwest, I would stay Northwest.
It's losing 0.5% a month at the moment. So yeah, Northwest, bro. Jevon Marsh, overseas investor here. What do you see the biggest weakness and strength of an overseas investor? My view, okay, so he's asked a question and he's answered his own question. So it might just be, we might just literally just read it out and go, yep. So here we go. So my view. So this is Jevon Marsh's view. This is the Russell Leeds, Alasdair Cunningham and Jevon Marsh podcast.
Yep.
Strengths. Number 1, blocking out the noise. Brexit.
Why is that a strength?
Property hate. And the UK News Presents. Okay, so what he's saying is, being overseas, you know, do you know how you just mentioned earlier you don't really watch the news?
Yeah.
You're not subjected to all the news. Okay.
Good.
Number 2, lower exchange rates at the moment.
Yeah.
Weaknesses. Number 1, speed of purchase. Even when buying through a limited company, when they find out you're from overseas, it takes ages. And number 2, unable to view the property prior to purchase means a finder, a trustworthy sourcer, i.e. better sourced, wins my vote here.
Boom, shaka.
Interested to hear if we have any other strengths that perhaps I'm not utilising. P.S. Keep up the great work, both.
Cheers, Jevon. Listen, right, I work with many overseas investors that are all in the same boat you're in. They can't view the properties because they're overseas. They don't want to view the properties because they're overseas. The purchase is longer. Give Max a call at Better Source and he'll put you in touch with our guy who helps facilitate getting your funds and getting your company that's set up in the UK. We'll only really deal with an overseas investor when we know their funds are in the UK because of the time it can take to get your funds here. So when you're looking to purchase, give Max a call if you want to go through us. His number is 07704 091262. Give him a call. He'll put you in touch with our guy, and what he does is he facilitates getting your, wherever you're from, your currency to UK currency and in the UK, and he does all the anti-money laundering checks, and he does everything like that, and he can assist with holding the money and helping you set up an account here and set up a company here.
So any other strengths then you can think of?
No, that was just my advice on it.
But has he got, his question was, is there any other strengths he's not utilising?
No. I think.
Sorry, mate. You've got.
I think.
Utilising all your strengths.
I think you're in a good position in the sense that sometimes it's good not to be here, because you can put your trust in other people and you can just rely on their expertise to find you a good deal. So the fact that you're not here might be good. I've got many overseas investors that have never even been to the UK to see the properties, and the properties get done. You're not involved, so sometimes that, by the fact that you're not directly involved, means there's one less person involved in everything, and it speeds things up.
So your strength, bro, is that you're not involved.
You're involved, you're paying the bills and you get the profit from it, but you're not physically here, like having your input on things. So do you know what I mean? Like, we've got an investor from China called Sharon, and she's invested lots of properties with us and with other people. She doesn't see them, but the whole transaction is so smooth.
What's her
because
name? Sharon.
Yeah, Sharon. Yeah.
Is that like a normal Chinese name?
No, she's expat, so she's wherever she lives in Hong Kong. My point being is she's not involved in the purchase. She literally says, "Look, I want that house. There's the money. Sort it out." We do everything. We do the build. We do everything, and we then just say, "Look, we even found the tenants for her. We've done everything," and it's just easier. It's actually easier, because when you have too many people involved, it takes too long.
That was just a hint to
hurry up.
Is that a good hint? Is it too
I
obvious?
got it.
You got it. All right,
Right,
cool.
one more.
Final one. Okay, and this is very apt for what we talked about today. Guys, I know you talk about rent to service accommodation quite a lot, but never buy to service accommodation. Are there difficulties with a mortgage where planning to let it out as service accommodation? Great podcast, by the way. You lads are very inspiring. Thank you, Jake. We kind of touched on that. We kind of touched on that earlier.
Yeah.
I think it's mainly because the most people, because they're more expensive apartments, that it's kind of, or more expensive places, it kind of limits it.
You bought 2 in Birmingham City.
I did.
Last year.
And they're great.
Yeah.
And they're great. Yeah. But there are obviously problems with the mortgages, but you've got the same problems with the mortgages when you're doing rent to rent as well, so it doesn't make much difference really. But guys, thank you very much for the questions. We really appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back next Saturday at 7 p.m. Please do not forget to subscribe. We love you, and we'll see you soon.
See you guys. Thanks very much.